Now continuing, we're just saying how these pillars, these overcomers in the Church of Philadelphia, these first fruits, these that were watching, waiting, and prepared, that were caught up early, they're a symbol, a sign that the whole harvest is coming. They will be pillars in the temple and will hold up that crown. The Jews will be the crown of the temple, the very top. And these first fruits will be given that reward. They will hold up that. And they will be presented before God, before the tribulation. And as we go on, we read in verse 4. Now it's going to explain who these are. In Revelations 14:4, these are the ones who have not been defiled with women. This 144,000, these that are now standing with the Lamb, and it's only these 144,000 standing there with the Lamb, because these are the first fruits. These are the first ones taken before the tribulation. That's why they are there with the Lamb. First, when the Lamb in chapter 5 had first risen, it was the 24 elders and the 4 living creatures. And now it's this 144,000 with them, with a new song, playing those harps. And it says, these are the ones who have not been defiled with women, for they have kept themselves chaste. Is this talking about just men that are not married, or men that don't have sex? It may have something to do with that, but it's getting down to the relationship with the Lord. That's what about, and then everything else comes into play. They have their eyes on Him. They keep themselves chaste. They keep themselves virgins. They're not out loving Babylon. They're not out committing adultery with the world. They're not out committing adultery in the natural sense. They're not committing adultery in the spiritual sense. They're walking with God. They've given their life to God. They present themselves before Him. They keep their eyes on Him. They know He's a jealous God. Do you know of a jealous person? They want your eyes on them at all times. This might be referring to, of course, they're not going to be out committing adultery. They're not going to be out lusting after every woman, but it's mainly getting down to the heart and soul of things. Then that's all taken care of. They keep their eyes on the Lord. And it continues, these are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever He goes. These are the ones that walk in the Spirit. These are the Christians that are following Him. They're always with Him. They're always in His presence. They've given up their life. They've come to the cross. They've been crucified with Christ. They have resurrection life. These have been purchased from among men. Look what it says, saints. These have been purchased from amongst men as first fruits to God and to the Lamb. There it is, the first fruits. There's 144,000 of them. They're with Him alone on Mount Zion. This is the first fruits. This is the Church of Philadelphia that's waiting, watching. This is the pillars in the temple that will hold up what's coming. The Jews that'll crown this temple. And this is the ones who keep Him before them at all times. They're loyal. They're dedicated. They're chaste. They're virgins. They don't have other lovers in the flesh, in sex, in the world, spiritually. They're committed to one. They're committed to the Lord. They walk with the Lord. And it says in 5, and no lie was found in their mouth. They are blameless. The world has just overcome the church. The church is slaves in Babylon. They love Babylon. They love the things of the world, everything they pray about, everything they want. I need a car, I need a bigger house, I need more money. Everything they look to is in this world. These 144,000 have their eyes set above. Their heart is set above. And he takes them as first fruits to God, to present them before God, to show that the harvest is coming. A symbol, a portion, a preparation for the harvest at large, because the harvest is coming. And that's what these 144,000 are. And it says, he says there, for they are chaste. It can also mean virgins. And what did Paul say in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 1 through 3? I wish that you would bear with me a little foolishness, but indeed you are bearing with me. Verse 2, for I am jealous for you with a godly jealousy, for I betrothed you to one husband, that to Christ I might present you as a pure virgin. But I am afraid lest, as the serpent deceived Eve by his craftiness, your minds should be led astray from the simplicity and purity of devotion to Christ. See, here's those chaste virgins. Here's those ones. Here's those ones that are walking with him. Their eyes are on him. And Paul was afraid because he said, I betrothed you to one husband, that to Christ I might present you a pure virgin. But now he's worried that they're being deceived. Their eyes are coming off of him. They're being unfaithful. They're mixing with the world. They're loving the world. These 144,000 stay there. They're faithful. They're in love. And their love isn't waning. And look what is said here by Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Verses 20 through 24. Look at here, saints. They'll tell you other things, but look at here. Verse 20. But now Christ has been raised from the dead. That lamb in chapter 5, Christ has been raised from the dead. And what is he? The first fruits. They try to tell you, oh, Christ is the first fruits. This here, there's nothing. There's no first fruits rapture. It says that Christ has been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who are asleep. This first fruits are alive and awake. He's the first fruits of the ones that were dead. He's the first fruits of that. And look at 21. For since by a man came death, by a man, remember them 666, Yeshua, the Son of God, the Son of Man, by a man also came the resurrection of the dead. Verse 22, for as in Adam all die, so also in Christ all shall be made alive. Look what he says in verse 23. Saints, pay attention. But all shall be made alive, but each in his own order. Christ, what does it say after that? The first fruits, he's naming the order. Christ already rose. He's the first fruits of the dead. These teachers try to tell you, no, it's saying Christ the first fruits of the dead. No, he already said that Christ is the first fruits of the dead. Now he's telling you the order of resurrection. It's Christ, then the first fruits. After that, those who are Christ at his coming. Christ the first fruits when he rose, first fruit of the dead. Then it's the first fruits, the church of Philadelphia, those that are waiting, watching, prepared. They're chaste, they're virgins, their eyes on him. They're not lying, they're not stealing, they're not loving other lovers. And after that, those that are Christ at his coming, at the end. So we have the first fruits. It says they're the first fruits. We have that representative number that represents the whole. And that's what the first fruits were taken into God in the old temple in. At that type of understanding, they are to represent the whole. This representative number that's not the total number, but it represents the whole. And not just that, it represents the whole harvest. It represents those that are coming. The harvest, we're going to see that the harvest hasn't happened yet. The harvest as a whole has not happened yet. You're going to see that. This is the first fruits. These are the ones that are caught up and presented to God. And these are the ones that will be pillars in his temple that will hold up the crown as the Israelis turn to him and are going to be the crowning glory of the living temple of God.